5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ready.
Just relax and enjoy the ride.
In crowd, 815. In crowd, 815. In crowd, 815. In crowd, 815. 815.
Isn't it kind of weird how TV episodes usually have names, but TV seasons never do? Or is that just me? I'm Greg. He's Tom. The music is loud. Let's turn that down. This is the In Crowd 815 podcast for the 28th day of June, the year 2025, the latest it has ever been, my friend.
In the history of mankind. Speaking of episodes, I had an episode the other day. They called me a psychopath. I have no idea what that's all about.
Oh, you got a label. Congratulations.
And now apparently they said I've had a whole season of it. So I don't know. It's just crazy. You know what? They're all crazy. I'm the only normal one. That's all I can say.
That's one way to look at it. We've all got something. We've got a great show for you. It's the person probably still sleeping next to you. So maybe give them a little nudge and say, hey, Tom and Greg are talking about something interesting today. So maybe you want to wake up and take a listen to episode 273 of the In Crowd 815 podcast.
Mr. Frog, I woke him
Frog's
up.
back. Multiple appearances for Mr. Frog.
Well, you know, it was going to be that or Mr. Packer. He's been very busy. Apparently he's in medical school. You know, got the whole medical thing. And so he's going to be the Packers team doctor. Go Packers. Well,
here's hoping we don't need too many doctors this season.
No, Jair's gone. We won't. the poor doctor. He's like, crap! I'm out of a job now. I won't.
I've got nothing to do.
9 weeks out of the season.
You still have to keep an eye on Christian Watson's legs. It's all right. So we got stuff to do. All right. We got some great guests to introduce you to today, including William Chatman, the Executive Director of Comprehensive Community Solutions, and Brad Roos, the President of Sustain Rockford. Before we get to these fine gentlemen, starting with Brad, we got to do a piece of business like this. Tom could do it today. Tom could complete our next race to 10. It's a score of 9-7 right now. And our big number of the week this week is 400 million. Tom, this week's answer is build or bank. Build or bank. Put your comments, put in the comments your guess. What do you think the big number of the week has to do with either build or bank? It will tell you the answer before the end of the show. I think both of these stories are within the last week, or at least within the last 2 weeks. So if you're trying the Google search thing, test your AI. Maybe they'll come up with it for you. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see what you can do. Any front of show shout outs this week? One front of show shout out I want to get out this week is Noah's Ark golf outing is coming up on Friday, August 8th. They call it the For the Love of Animals golf event. It's at Ingersoll Golf Course, and they have sponsorship opportunities at noahsarkanimals.org. Check out noahsarkanimals.org for information about their For the Love of Animals golf event coming up on Friday, August 8th. So start your weekend early that weekend in August.
We should do it.
That'd be fun. And I can't tell you if I've ever golfed Ingersoll as long as I've been in Rockford.
One time for me. One time.
I don't know. All right. Anyway, we would love to hear your comments on today's show. And as we get started today, let me put this up on this. Did I get the thing on the screen? I'm just going to put this on the screen right here like this. Our first guest is the president of this organization called Sustain Rockford. Are you familiar with Sustain Rockford? Well, you will be after today. Brad Roos is joining us on the big screen here, and I'm going to put you on the big side of the screen because that's where we want you to be. Mr. Roos, and am I even saying your name right, Brad? Good morning.
Perfectly. You've said it perfectly, and good morning to you.
Thanks for coming on today. Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into all things Sustain Rockford. Where did Brad Roos grow up and go to school? We want to know your high school mascot. We're hoping to make fun of you on that. So let's see if we pick on you.
Okay. Well, I'm Rockford born and raised,
Yep.
and went to stinking Lincoln Junior High, and then to Rockford
So
East
did
High
I.
School. And so did my father, Tom.
Wow.
Funny thing, I know you're busy doing your thing, but my mom and dad had two of the same teachers I had when I went there.
Same here.
Or I had two of the
Mr.
same
Fowler.
teachers.
Yep. And I graduated from East High School, the ERABs, East, Red, and Black. Once an ERAB, always an ERAB. And after that, I went away to the University of Illinois, where I got a couple of degrees in chemistry, math, and environmental studies. And after that, I taught high school in Champaign for a couple of years, went to Puerto Rico for about a year to teach in a bilingual school.
Fun.
And then came back and worked as a toxicologist and then in neighborhood development in Champaign-Urbana for 14 years. Came back to Rockford in 1990 to work with Zion Development, where I worked for almost 25 years in neighborhood development work. Very satisfying, very difficult work. And then retired in 2014 at the end. And then I prayed the dangerous prayer. What do I do next? And and that's what led me to Sustain Rockford.
Here I am, Lord, send me. Well, here you go.
Well, yep.
So
wait, God, that wasn't what I was asking for. I no, come on. Let's try this again, dude.
When you say neighborhood development, what does that really mean? What is that?
Yeah. That's a really good question. A lot of people ask that question. Neighborhood development is different than housing development, although they're often overlapped.
Sure.
In the case of Zion Development and many organizations like it, there's a whole network, by the way, called the Christian Community Development Association that links many hundreds of organizations like that. And their national conference is absolutely spectacular and wonderful. And what it means is, what is going on in your neighborhood? What is going on in your neighborhood that needs to be addressed for the sake of the folks there? And so it doesn't start out with, hey, I have the answer to your problems. Now, what are those? It starts out with listening and watching, and then figuring out what can we do to help, you. There's an ancient Chinese proverb that goes something like this: go to the people, live among them, love them, start with what they have, begin with what they know. And when all is said and done, they will say of themselves, we have done it ourselves.
And that's the goal.
Yeah.
Because then they take ownership of those changes, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Organizations don't change people. People change themselves.
Yeah.
And that's along the same lines as give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach him how to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. It's kind of the same.
Provided that you know who owns the pool.
Yeah. There you go.
So, so you come back to Rockford and you're quote unquote retired. And we all know what that does to anyone who's active in that.
I failed retirement badly, like so many.
Happily failing retirement, right? Because you're doing something you enjoy and you are passionate about. So when people ask you to explain Sustain Rockford for the first time, they never heard about your organization before. Where do you start? What do you tell them about?
Well, the tagline is that we are working collaboratively to help make Rockford a more sustainable community. That's the tagline. Okay. And that's particularly in the area. Well, I mean, sustainability is defined broadly by a three-legged stool kind of concept of people, profit, and planet. So if a community is going to be sustainable, it needs to be sustainable environmentally, economically, and in terms of its social justice and equity.
Okay. So the major platforms that you guys are currently working on for the Rockford area, what would those most chief concerns be right now?
Well, first of all, it's very important to know that Sustain Rockford is a grassroots organization. So we are not grant funded by and large. We are funded by our members. We would love to be funded by more grants, but that hasn't been the case. And so the strength is in the folks that are involved in what we're doing. And there are other organizations working in the areas of sustainability, other portions of the area of sustainability, who are, for example, like the Region 1 Planning Council. They bring the big bucks. They bring the big bucks into our community, and that's fantastic. What we want to do is, if they're going to bring the seed, we want to plow the field. Let's put it that way. And so we work with a lot of people, and we've decided, in working collaboratively with others, that our area of focus would be solar and waste reduction.
Okay.
So solar, because solar is an individual decision largely. I mean, there are solar farms and utility grade solar, but for the most part, it's up to you and me to make our decisions about how and when and why to get solar. Waste reduction is pretty much the same. Just to get on, I mean, I'm supposed to be on the soapbox, right? So
that's right. This is your soapbox. It's all
right. In 2022, the Winnebago County did a landfill or solid waste management plan, and they assessed that the Winnebago County landfill, which number one is the largest in the state. Bet you didn't know that. Number two, therefore, it is the largest emitter of methane, a dangerous greenhouse gas, 80 times more powerful than carbon dioxide. So we're number one in two areas. And the methane part comes from, of course, food waste, organics that are decomposing anaerobically by being buried. And where do they come from? From my kitchen, from your kitchen, from everybody, from restaurants, and that's about it. That's where it comes from.
I know. Back in the day, I remember how my grandma used to keep a cut open milk jug next to her sink, so all the food stuff went in there, and every day that went out to the compost pile or thrown out in the garden.
That is so smart, and it is so easy to do, and it is the quickest way to reduce your personal contribution to the methane and to the landfill. The landfill study said that in 2022, we only had 14 years left before we reached capacity. 14 years. Well, that was 2022. So now it's 11. And, we are the ones that contribute to that. My wife is in a walking group, and she met a woman from Mexico. And the woman from Mexico said, shocked Sue, who, by the way, be just like your grandmother in some ways. Sue grew up on a farm, and you take her kitchen scraps, and in their case, throw them over the fence for the cattle. That was the solution there. Mm-hmm. But Patricia said that in her town, they didn't have any trash. And they didn't have any trash because they didn't generate it. They didn't buy stuff they didn't need. And if they did generate something that they couldn't use, they dealt with it themselves. Mm-hmm. And she said, no plastic bags. They just all decided no plastic bags. And yet we just are going crazy trying to figure out whether we can actually ban them. An interesting thing that I learned is that microplastics, big problem, right? Microplastics, they're everywhere. They get into your cells. I mean, they're that small. And the average person, I'm told, this is scary, but the average person, I'm told, has about as much microplastic already in their body to be about the size of a credit card. Already there.
Yeah.
So, I don't really think there should be much argument about, single-use plastic, and especially single-use plastic bags. Patricia and her community back in Mexico, they just solved it because they just said, we're just not going to do this. Yeah. And so, that's a great solution. But solar is also key. And it's key for two reasons. I think you probably have all heard that solar, that our electric usage is really skyrocketing, right?
Right. Absolutely is.
Right.
Absolutely is.
Yeah. There's three big reasons for that. And our grid management organization, which is called PJM, in our Commonwealth Edison area in the 13 states, they say that the increase will be 40% by the year 2035, a 40% increase in the electric load from three major sources: data centers, industrial electrification, and electric vehicles. Now, interestingly enough, the state that has tackled this the best is Texas. Texas has installed enormous amount of solar. and they do not expect to see, they have a 1% chance of emergency crisis during this hot summer. Last year, it was 16%. And the reason is because, and I'm looking at my notes here because this is impressive. They have seen an increase of solar of 5,395 megawatts plus 3,821 megawatts of battery storage and 253 megawatts of wind. Batteries in the wind has essentially meeting their needs. So it's really, really important that we do this. And utility grade, community solar, all that stuff. And a lot of this can be decided by individuals. You can decide to do this yourself. I mean, you guys, Tom and Greg, you could call up numbers today and sign up for community solar, today. You could do it today. You don't have to have it on your house even. And a lot of people don't even know this.
I'm a big advocate for that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Community solar is a wonderful, I think it's a wonderful alternative to putting solar panels on your house, which as a realtor, I'm running into a lot of issues with that.
Yes.
We've talked about that a few times. And
well, we had a big conference last summer and we had a fantastic turnout, 22 exhibitors. It was a solar conference and expo. It was all day at the Embassy Suites. And we had speakers statewide, policy experts, smart people talking about what's going on in the solar realm. And by the way, there are thousands and thousands of people working in this area, not just actually installing, but with policy and generating projects and so on. So it's very exciting. And Illinois is absolutely one of the best states for solar in the country right now. Absolutely. Our solar incentives are going to withstand whatever happens at the federal level. So it's really terrific. And one of the things that people said, there was a wonderful woman from Elevate Energy, which is a not-for-profit that works nationally. And Pam Brookstein is an expert on the impact of solar on real estate. And she has numbers, Greg. She has wonderful numbers to say, yes, there are challenges if you're leasing. But if you're not leasing, then there are not challenges. Exactly. And if there are leasing, you can fix that. And then we had a guy from the township talking about the assessment issue. And essentially, they have no guidance. They have no guidance on this. So if someone says, well, it really affects your assessments, that's not fact-based.
No.
So that's really, and I'm just encouraged so much by so much interest in this whole field. So we're excited to be working. There it is. And there are wonderful resources for community solar on our website in the resource section. You can find there a chart that was produced by the Citizens Utility Board, CUB. They're a non-biased, state-supported citizen protection organization that's really, really smart. And they've provided a whole grid of your community solar options if you want to go that way. And it's just wonderful. You can download it or just work right off of it from online at our website or also at our Go Solar 815. See, I have my t-shirt on, which is not XXX Tom. And maybe that was the earlier conversation. But I just wanted you to know that the solar options in Illinois are spectacular, not the least of which is if you are a not-for-profit and your show focuses on nonprofits, if you're a not-for-profit providing a human service, you could be eligible for the Illinois Solar for All program, which promises no upfront cost, and a guarantee of 50% savings on your electric bill. So the math is astonishing, and essentially they're practically giving it to you at no cost. So if you're a not-for-profit or if you're a person living in a neighborhood that's an environmental justice neighborhood or in an income eligible neighborhood, all of which are easily knowable, you are eligible for the Illinois Solar for All program. I live in the neighborhood where I worked with Zion. I live above Katie's Cup in Midtown. Mm-hmm. And my wife and I are in a condo. So we don't have solar on our roof, but we have community solar. But we would be eligible for the Illinois Solar for All program because we live in an income eligible neighborhood and also in an environmental justice neighborhood. So, you think, well, I probably am not, eligible, or if your income is eligible, So it's a terrific program, and we are advocating for it actually very intentionally, and we're going to launch that this fall. We're going to launch the efforts there.
Okay. Well, there's more information here. We've got our Sustain Rockford. I'm going to put this in the now, the link to this page, so you can find it really simple.
Yeah.
If you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook or on Rumble, you're going to get to this link on your chat. If you're not on one of those platforms, you won't see it, but you can go to sustainrockford.org and go to all these links here. And it's one of those I think such obvious things that's so close to your face. Sometimes you miss it. That one of the things we can do to best combat poverty is to make sure utility costs are as low as they can possibly be, and gas and electricity are the biggest things that we spend money on to get around and to fuel our houses, and keep them going. So if we can keep those costs low, that helps.
Yeah, absolutely, Greg. And let me just say that we do not, the payback on market rate solar is about 11 years or 12 years. But that's with the current rates, and with the load increases we just talked about, those rates aren't going to hold. They just can't hold. We can't expect to get more and pay less. So the rates are going to go up. And also the rates for natural gas are they're already skyrocketing in my experience. And, it's like, what's the cost of whale oil, right? I mean, we used to use whale oil, and that's... so that as it's phased out, that it's going to become more and more expensive because the infrastructure continues to exist. So moving away, Bill McKibben, who is a great guy, great person of faith, great author, and he says very simply, we just got to stop burning stuff. Got to stop burning stuff. Got to stop buying stuff. Got to stop burning stuff. That's what is causing the issues. And I want to encourage people on the waste side, on the composting side. We were just pleased as punch to be collaborating with Keep Northern Illinois Beautiful, and with the Nettles Compost Collective, which is a for-profit, because we can't easily, my wife and I cannot easily compost in our condo building, or if you lived in an apartment or something, maybe don't have a backyard or don't know how. We pay $9 a month to Nettles. Sue takes roughly a gallon size container that they provide, and takes it to Keep Northern Illinois Beautiful's hydraulic road facility and drops it off twice a month. In fact, we pick up for some of our neighbors as well. It's a piece of cake, and it solves the problem. And it's a very, very scalable solution. Anybody could do this. And every time we do that, we keep that methane out of the atmosphere, and we keep that waste out of the landfill. And the county, Chairman Chiarelli has told me that he is losing sleep over the fact that they're reaching capacity on the landfill. And when we reach capacity on the landfill, what do you think happens?
Where does it go now? Yeah.
Our costs will just absolutely go out of sight.
And it will be our garbage somewhere else.
Yeah. And Patricia, the woman my wife knows, when she said our community just made the decision. Well, if we don't make the decisions, we'll pay the price, and it will be on us. It's us. It's our decisions. So, I'm excited to be involved in this. And let me tell you, as a grassroots organization, Sustain Rockford's engaged a whole lot of talented people, some really, really wonderful people, grassroots organization. You guys could become members. Anybody can. You go to our website, sign up for $1. If that's what you can afford, you can be a member for $1. But of course, we appreciate more than that.
Absolutely.
I think you kind of summed it up when you said you have to want to do this, but it all starts with the education. And this is, of course, a good start. It's very interesting stuff, because I don't think people understand how serious this could be. I mean, maybe the numbers are skewed by a year or two, given, give or take a year. But the reality of it is that it will run out. Whether it's 10 years, 12 years, 14 years, it will run out. And that's what we need to focus on. So the other question I have, and this kind of shows my naivete, I'm a novice when it comes to any of this kind of stuff. If I were to put solar panels on my roof and solar panels in my yard or something like that, can I then rely solely on solar, and could I tell ComEd to take a hike? And I don't mean a rate hike. Or is this more of a supplement to and then we slowly phase out ComEd or something along those lines.
Well, Tom, you strike me as the kind of person that does what he wants to do anyway. So, you can tell ComEd to take a hike if you want and cut yourself off from the grid. You probably don't want to do that.
No.
You probably want to stay hooked up to the grid just so that, you can stay in touch. If you do get hooked up to the grid, the best options today, and this is the trend by far, is to also get battery storage. Because with battery storage, you are much less vulnerable to a power outage than you would have otherwise been. And you might say to that, I hardly ever have that problem anyway. And when I do, I have candles and it'll only last a little while. Well, think about that load increase that I mentioned. If PJM says the load's going to go up 40% in fewer than 10 years, then you know that there are going to be more power outages unless we employ, like Texas did, more solar and more batteries. So you want to put the battery in there, and then you can be off grid in a sense when the power goes out. So those are your options. I personally would recommend, and we're going to look into this for our condo association, is that we get solar with battery, because that's where it's going. Sunrun, which is the largest installer in the country, they do a megawatt of solar every day. And they have a multi-billion-dollar business. And they are installing at least half or more of their installations in California, for example, all have batteries. And in Illinois, there are rebates for batteries from ComEd, because ComEd knows they can't keep up. Think about this.
Yeah.
There are 6 sources of energy that electric energy or power production. Those 6 are coal-fired power plants, natural gas-fired power plants, hydroelectric, nuclear, solar, and wind. Those are the 6. And of those, the most expensive is nuclear. And it also takes a long time to develop a nuclear power plant. If you want to develop a natural gas power plant, and those have really skyrocketed, I was told at the Midwest Solar Expo last week that you will wait until 2032 to get your gas turbine. 2032. You'll wait 7 years. That's not a good plan. Coal-fired power plants are diminishing rapidly. There are many days, if not most days, in which the UK, for example, no longer depends on coal-fired. And then hydro in Illinois exists, but it's very small. So that leaves the 2, wind and solar. And of the 2, wind is more expensive and takes more time. Solar you can have tomorrow. Or if you're going to put it on your property, you can have it within the year. And by the way, with the proposed federal changes in the federal investment tax credit, better get going. Get it done today. Do it now. But the whole point is that solar is by far, as Tim Montague, who is an expert in this in Illinois, he keeps saying, solar costs are going down, utility prices are going up. You do the math.
Right. Yeah. And let's find ways to make the electricity prices go down. Let's try to make things a lot easier for everybody. That's one thing that affects every single person.
That's right.
I love that idea. You got the events page here popped up, and it looks like the next thing, July 8th, is the Reduce Waste Rockford meeting, your regular meeting, July 8th at 3:30. Where's that?
The Reduce Waste Rockford meeting, they meet at Katie's Cup. Okay. The one that I want to highlight, though, is the sustainability movement meetings. We have those every month, Greg. So we have those at 5:15 once a month at Prairie Street Brewing Company. And what is it? The 9th, right? That will be this month. We're going to have Julie Urim from Nature at the Confluence talk to us about why sustainability is important, why nature is important to sustainability. And next month in August, or the following month in August, Dan Kane, former director of the Boone County Conservation District, is going to talk about our aquifer. By the way, our aquifer is the aquifer that feeds most of the Chicago suburban area. Yeah. And that's because there's a shale shelf over the aquifer, and a drop of water that lands in the Chicago suburbs won't make it to the aquifer, but it'll make it if it drops in Winnebago County. But the big user in our region is Joliet. And it takes a drop of water falling on my yard, or if I had a yard, your yard, 300 to 400 years to make it to Joliet. So we've got to really understand our aquifer and conserve water. That's just a fact.
It's fun to tell people about underground rivers.
Oh, and Dan's an expert, so he's really great.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, before we wrap things up with you and transition over to William Chatman here in a minute, I asked AI to give me some questions to ask you today. And AI gave me 3 good ones. I'm going to pick one. And one of the questions AI gave me to ask you today, Brad, was Rockford, like many mid-sized cities, faces unique challenges and opportunities in transitioning towards a more sustainable future. What do you see as the most significant hurdle sustained Rockford currently faces in achieving its goals within the local context? Are you seeing any innovative approaches, and are you employing anything to overcome these challenges? What do you think is the most the biggest hurdle for us?
Lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge, because everybody has agency, right? You already have that. But if you don't know how to act, you don't know what to do. If you don't know that the landfill is going to reach capacity in 11 years, you don't know what to do or why to do.
You have no urgency, yeah.
If you don't know that the electric load is going to increase, that rates could increase, and that you can save money with solar and you can do it tomorrow, you don't act. So a lack of knowledge is absolutely crucial to people engaging their agency and doing what's right.
Awesome. Good deal. And then I also asked it to give me some strange or funny questions to ask you, Brad. And it gave me 3, but a couple of them I don't think really make much sense. But if sustained Rockford were a superhero, what would its superpower be? And maybe who would its arch nemesis be and look like?
Oh goodness, that's like Marvel comic stuff.
Sustained Rockford man. Yeah.
Yes, I think our superpower would be massive communication.
Ooh.
The ability to, so we would have a million mouths. But more importantly, we would trigger a chain reaction of communication. We would be the chain reactor communicators. One person tells another because they realize that this is important and easy. And then the arch nemesis is head in the sand. Mr. Head in the Sand, Mr. Sandhead. That's our arch nemesis, because Mr. Sandhead has no awareness and no interest in being aware, and is actually interested only in keeping his ears, eyes, and senses closed.
Mm-hmm.
What is the bird that puts his head in the sand? Is that an ostrich?
They say that. I can't verify. That's unverified in my experience, Tom.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the giant ostrich or a giant loon or whatever the and that probably more fits anyway.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Good
stuff.
one.
All right. Well, before we transition, is there anything that we did not ask you about that you wanted to make sure we touch on before we transition?
Thank you. Yes. At those sustainability movement meetings, we are collecting single-use plastic bags and plastic film. And we're doing this as part of the Trex Challenge at one of the local Montessori schools. If they can collect 1,000 pounds of plastic film, like bread bags and water softener salt bags and kitty litter bags and stuff like that, then they will get a free Trex bench made out of Trex, recycled plastic.
Yeah.
More importantly, it will teach a lot of people the importance and the ease by which they can recycle single-use plastic film and stop doing it. Stop accepting it at the grocery store, for example.
Nice. Okay. All right. Well, I really appreciate your time. We're about to jump into some trivia and bring William on the screen. So let's do this. Time for a little Tom Trivia Challenge, and good morning to you, William Chatman. How you doing, buddy?
I'm well. How about you?
Good. Thanks for joining us today. We're about to get into all things comprehensive community solutions, but before that, we got some trivia challenge from Tom Warner, the trivia master.
Right.
Here we go. What do you got for us?
Here we go. Put your thinking caps on, gentlemen. All right. Greg, As usual, let the guests try to guess first. If they don't know,
We've
then
gotten
you
close a
jump in
couple
if you do.
times to getting all 7 right. We have 2 times that we've gotten 6 right out of Tom's trivia. So that's the challenge.
That's right. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Question number 1: volcanoes. All right. This should be an easy one. Maybe. I don't know. Which country has the highest number of active volcanoes? Is it Indonesia or Japan? Once again, which country has the highest number of active volcanoes? Is that Indonesia or Japan?
Huh. I think of Indonesia as being a volcano country, right? That's what I would think they would have more than Japan, but I don't know Japan very well, so I don't know. Any ideas, guys?
I'm going with Japan. We're with Indonesia. I'm going with that.
It's a whole line of volcanoes, isn't it?
That's basically it. Yes, Indonesia has approximately up to 130 active volcanoes. Japan has 40. So that was kind of one of those, starting you off with an easy one. Think about it though; they're just nothing but islands. Indonesia is just 1,000 islands or whatever, and so whenever you've got that kind of islands, you got volcanic activity off the coast, whatever. All right, way to go! Off to a good start. Here we go. Reality TV. I don't know how much reality TV you guys watch. I don't watch a lot of it. I watch almost none of it. But this I thought was a pretty good question. Nick Cannon is the current host of what reality competition TV series on Fox? Is it The Masked Singer or is it America's Got Talent?
America's Got Talent. No.
Greg, what do you think?
I'm looking at 2 people saying the opposite thing. So if I'm going to say The Masked Singer, but I really don't know.
It is The Masked Singer.
Funny thing is, Nick Cannon used to be America's Got Talent host long time ago, but this is current. Yes, it is. Yes. Something like that. It is The Masked Singer. Terry Crews does America's Got Talent.
He's a great host. He's an awesome host.
Oh my God, Terry Crews. He is. I loved him.
I love how he hosts that show. My favorite show on TV, America's Got Talent. Probably my second favorite show is The Masked Singer right now. I like that.
Really? Okay. I don't watch either of them, but I do see a lot of them on YouTube Shorts. I see a lot of them, and I'm like, wow, I really should watch this show. But anyway, I just don't have any time. Look, if the Cubs are on, I'm watching them. Okay?
I hear you.
Go Cubs, 2016, baby. And first it was 108 years. Well, now it's going to be it'd be 9 more years because it was 2016. So that's all right. Whatever. The math doesn't really work out. Forget I said anything. All right, here we go. Question number 3. Periodic table. Oh, you know what? This is going to fall right into your hands there, Brad. What element in the periodic table does the letter W stand for?
I know.
You know it?
Yeah.
Help us, Brad. Help us, Brad.
It's tungsten.
It's tungsten. You are absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
William, I never even came close to that.
I didn't guess that either.
Brad, when I heard your little bio, your little resume there, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'll leave that one in. That's good. All right, so here's a really easy one, and there's a story behind it, but I'm not going to share it because it doesn't really matter. Well, what I'll just say is it was a question that my boss had originally written, because sometimes I get these from my boss. I work for a guy doing trivia, and he has no problem if I use the questions, but it was a question that had a little flaw in it, so I changed it, and I always change it to what I think is a pretty easy one. In the medical field, what is the medical name for fingers and toes?
I mean, isn't it phalanges or something like that?
It is phalanges.
Yeah.
It just sounds like such a weird word. I believe it's Latin.
Excuse me, but would you please clean your phalanges? You appear to have very dirty phalanges today.
Yeah.
Sounds so British.
It does.
All right.
Here we go.
Fourth one?
That was number 4. 4-0. We're cooking with gas here. All right. Well, cooking with solar, maybe. Maybe that's what it is.
Yay.
All right.
Tom wins. Ding, ding, ding.
Yep. Number five. Capitals. What is the state capital of Kentucky?
No idea.
Mm-hmm. Frankfurt, I think.
Frankfurt or Lexington? I don't know which it is, but I think it's Frankfurt.
I think so.
You sure it's not Louisville? It's Frankfurt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
baby.
Yeah. We're a good team, guys. We're a good team. We got this. 2 more.
All right. I've got I have 2 questions for number 6 that I was going to choose, and then I have a question number 7. So I was going to give you the option. One is an NBA question, the other is a television question. Which one do you want? The consensus gets it. And if you all 3 say, well, you can't all 3 say something different because there's only 2 options.
I'm open to either one. I don't know.
I say what Will says.
Let's go with television. Let's see what that says.
All right, television. Probably your better choice because the NBA question was difficult. Sort of. I was going to give you options, but okay, television. In regard to the TV series Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, what is Saul's last name?
Wow.
Come on, Will. Come on.
Yeah, I've never seen either show.
Neither have I. I know it only from trivia. It's
Saul Dirty Lawyer. I mean, was he? Yeah, I don't remember either. I watched a lot of Breaking Bad, but very little of Better Call Saul.
Well, if you'd have said Saul Dirtelier, might have given it to you. No, I'm kidding. No guesses on that? All right, we're gonna strike that one. Here's your
what was the NBA question?
Here was your mulligan. Your NBA question. Name the NBA's all-time leader in missed shots. He played in the NBA from 1996 to 2016. Is it Kobe Bryant or Shaquille O'Neal? Once
Kobe
again,
Bryant.
name the NBA's all-time leader in missed shots. He played in the NBA from 96 to 2016. Is it Kobe or Shaq?
I think William's onto it.
Yeah, I think Kobe Bryant.
I think it's Kobe.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Yes. The other one was Saul Goodman. Goodman. All right. So you get an asterisk by it, but it doesn't matter.
Okay,
we're going to go for we're going to go 6.5 on this.
Come on.
That's the only issue there. It won't be a complete 7. All right, here you go. The very final one. This is going back a little bit, but it's a very good trivia question. You should know this one, maybe. All right. What was the name of the band that would become the Beatles after Ringo Starr joined? What were they before they were the Beatles?
I was a Bob Dylan fan. I was not tracking them.
Once upon a time, I drank some wine, and not a Bob Dylan fan here.
I think it might have been the Quarrymen. I'm not sure.
Everybody agree?
No idea.
Quarrymen.
I have no idea either.
You are correct, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ow.
6.5 points. Can't give you a complete 7 because I opted out of the question. I know I said it was a mulligan. It was, but
7 with the mulligan.
7.
We shouldn't be surprised that it was the Quarrymen, a rock band.
A rock band.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right.
Forget
Is that
it.
where rock and roll came from? I have
No,
no
that was
idea.
good. That was good.
Anyway, well, Brad, we sure appreciate your time this morning. Thanks for sharing with us what all things.
Yeah, lots of
Sustainable
really
is all
good
about.
information.
Yeah.
Great info.
Nice to get to know you guys.
We
I'll
got
call you,
as
Will.
well.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice to connect these two guys, and that's again a big motivator behind why we do these podcasts. We want to encourage collaboration between businesses and not-for-profits and not-for-profits and other not-for-profits, and get together and say, hey, what are you doing that maybe we could do with you? How can we help sustain each other better, right? So we really appreciate your time this morning, Brad. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you. Same to you guys.
Bye-bye.
Put this up on the screen. CCS, Comprehensive Community Solutions, And our next guest is you're the executive director of this outfit that's got a really cool looking building over there on Main Street, just south of Embassy Suites, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, well, before we get into CCS, let's talk about William Chatman. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up? And how did you find yourself in Rockford at CCS?
Well, that's a long story.
Well, let's start with where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school and stuff like that?
So I am originally from Chicago. I grew up on the southeast side of Chicago, the Chatham area. Went to school at Hirsch. That was my high school.
What was your mascot?
I don't know.
The Hirsch Huskies? What was the Hirsch?
I think it was the Huskies. I got kicked out my freshman year. So
all right. Another story for another day, probably.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Chicago. And I think now I've lived in Rockford longer than I lived in Chicago. So yeah.
Okay. Well, what led you to CCS? How did you find yourself as the executive director of Comprehensive Community Solutions?
It's an interesting story. So I grew up on the south side of Chicago. Got into trouble. Grew up in the fatherless home, and succumbed to a lot of the urges that come from the street life. Started, into gang activity at the age of 10. Wound up incarcerated for a gang-related shooting by the age of 17. I was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Did the prison time. While I was in prison, my mother moved to Rockford because she wanted to get away from the Chicago land area. And also wanted to be close enough to support me while I was in prison. So my mom moved to Rockford. So when I paroled from prison, I came to Rockford. And it was tough when I first got out. I got out with the mindset that I wanted to do something different. I didn't like the person that I had been, the havoc that I believe we caused in the community I grew up in. And I wanted to do something about that. But when I got out of prison, nobody wanted to give me an opportunity. I had a child that I came home to. She was a baby when I went to prison. So when I got home, my child was waiting for me, and nobody would hire me. I went on my check when I got out of prison. I mean, the money that they give you when you go get on the bus, I used that to buy a suit from Goodwill and some dress shoes, and I went job hunting. It took me 6 months before somebody would give me an opportunity. And the organization that gave me an opportunity was Comprehensive Community Solutions. They ran the Youth Build Rockford program, and Youth Build gave me an opportunity to come get skills training and give me an opportunity to do something different with myself. So that's kind of what led me to Rockford.
Awesome. Okay. And we could go all different rabbit trails off of your story, I'm sure. The one thing I really want to ask you about, William, and you tell us as much or as little as you want to, but for someone who has zero experience with the prison system, the fact that you spent 10 years there, right? 10, did you fill the full cert, the full 10
No,
years?
I got locked up at 17 and paroled at 23. So about 6. Yeah.
Okay. So were there, in your opinion, decent enough programs where you had to serve your time? Because it sounded like you came out with a mindset that said, hey, I'm going to buy a suit. I'm going to go out there and change my life. And you did something, because we hear a lot about the bad stuff, the repeat offenders, the guys who never do nothing but keep going back to prison. You didn't get into that cycle. So was that more self-motivated, or was there something there, an organization or a person that was like, dude, don't come back here. Let's do something different with your life. What did that change your mindset to make sure you weren't going to go back?
I think two things. The guys that had a lot of time encouraging me to do something different. At the time and where I spent most of my time at, there was a college program that I had enrolled into. But that was after the motivation came from guys that had boatloads of time that was telling me that, young man, you got a decent head on your shoulders. You need to do something different. I think going to prison, guys can be summed up into two categories: somebody that come to prison and become great card players, or those that come to prison and develop a plan to do something different. And I think another thing that I would like to say is my parole officer at the time told me that typically the guys that continually come back are the guys that do 1-2 years, and they don't take it serious. Typically, what he told me at the time, that a person that does 5 or more years, typically parole officers don't have an issue out of them. You won't see them come back. It's very rare.
Huh.
So I thought that was real interesting. I thought it was interesting, but my motivation typically came from myself and the individuals surrounding me, encouraging me to do something different.
We always talk about peer pressure, right, Tom? There's good peer pressure too. It's not just negative. So it sounds like we got.
Oh, absolutely. I just want to say thank you for your forthrightness, for coming out here on this program and talking about a past that most people wouldn't want to hear, wouldn't want to live, whatever. And you made it through. And I think that's very, very, very impressive. And I thank you because we need more stories like yours. And you know what? I don't know what you do at Community Solutions yet. We're getting into all of that. But think about becoming a public speaker, telling your story. Maybe you have already, but I'm impressed. I've got goosebumps right now because when you're that young and you've had that tough of a life from 10 years old on to 17, and then you go in for 4 or 5 years, that's not a lot of room for learning all the basics in life. You had to start learning them at 23, 24, 25. And so it's almost like everything's compacted into just a couple of years. That's pretty impressive that you made it where you are today. So think about telling your story, not just here, but in a lot of different places. Please do that for us, for the kids.
I'm definitely open to it. Definitely open to it.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm going to pop up your Facebook page here, and you can tell us all about what is Comprehensive Community Solutions. What does your organization do?
So Comprehensive Community Solutions is a nonprofit, and you have the Facebook page up. You can also pull up our webpage at ccsrockford.org. Yes. Yep. So our mission, we basically, as a nonprofit, we focus on 3 areas: sustainable workforce development that leads to a sustainable wage, meaningful community engagement, and affordable housing. Those are the 3 pillars of our organization. Ironically, our organization was started by a probation officer named Kerry Kanoto. He founded the organization in 1992. So Kerry felt as though at the time that the judicial system wasn't functioning correctly for our young people. So he stepped off on his dream of starting his own nonprofit organization to address the many issues that young people faced within the judicial system. And with that, Kerry Kanoto brought to Rockford a program called Youth Build. Youth Build is a global movement right now. Youth Build has programs in 15 different countries. In the U.S. by itself, there are over 250 Youth Build programs in 48 states. And this program basically gives young people an opportunity that are not successful in the traditional educational system. And the premise is the fact that if we let our children fall through the cracks, we're going to pay the cost eventually. And that cost could be staggering to the public. I think there was a study done by the Department of Labor that said every young person that turns to a life of crime, taxpayers pay over $2 million for that one person. You think about the impact of that. The cost of our you putting a participant through a Youth Build program is anywhere from $13,000 to $23,000. So just weigh the cost of life trajectories. I was one of those young people that came out of prison, and Youth Build gave me an opportunity. Now I'm a taxpayer. I have 6 children. I have all high school graduates, all working in the community, doing great. Have children that they're raising to go on and do better. So when we talk about impact, Youth Build is impacting catching those young people as they fall through the cracks, who aren't successful in the traditional educational system, and putting them on a different trajectory that our community, all of these communities, benefit from. So that's just one of the programs that Comprehensive Community Solutions host at our nonprofit. Since I've been executive director and CEO, I stepped into my role in 2020, and I wanted to make sure that we provided more services to address the issues that we saw in Rockford. At the time I stepped into my role, it was a week before the pandemic, the COVID pandemic.
Welcome to this, William.
So stepping into my role, it was a lot of challenges that I faced. And looking at the time, the biggest thing that jumped out to me was the unemployment rate and the poverty rate of Rockford. Today, our poverty rate, our unemployment rate is 4.9%, and our poverty rate is 22.2%. And you think about, like, what's the cause of that? What's going on? What's driving that? And you look at the graduation rate. The graduation rate at the time of the pandemic was 64%, I believe. That means 64% of the young people that go to high school graduate on time. 11% drop out and don't go back. Today, our graduation rate is 69%. Still an 11% dropout rate. 11% dropping out and don't go back. So when we think about those young people that drop out and don't go back, like what are we doing in Rockford to make sure that those young people have pathways to be assets to the communities that they live in? And we wanted to respond to those statistics. Another statistic by the Department of Labor says that if you look at poverty across America, they did a study, you'll see that poverty directly correlates to violent crime. Every community where there's high poverty, there's also high crime. So if you're talking about our young people that are falling through the cracks and living in poverty, they're also individuals where a large part of the crime exists. In education, I've had opportunity to work in educational institutions, and what you'll see is about 10% of the people cause 90% of the problems within those institutions, you know? And you look at that 10%, only 9%, the 9% is 9 times out of 10 following 1% that, you know, sometimes life just has to beat them up to, you know, get them to change or see their ways. But 9% are the individuals that want to really do something different, but they're just following the crowd. So with our programs, and our response to that was 3 other programs. Rockford Work. So we looked at individuals that graduated from high school. Youth Build has been in the community for 31 years addressing the high school dropout rate. So we wanted to look at individuals that have a high school diploma, but they don't believe that college is a pathway for them. And then because they're used to working with their hands, or they're hands-on learners. So we wanted to open the program for those young people where they come in with their high school diploma, they get some job training skills, and then we're going to get them enrolled in the credential. Rockford Work offers training and credentials in CNA. We pay for that completely. CDLs, which is your commercial driver's license. We also do construction. We teach them the construction trade. We also do welding. We do Google IT, and we do culinary arts. So those are some of the programs that or credentials that a person can come to Rockford Work, get trained in, get a credential, and then we get to put them to work. So from the time an individuals enroll in Rockford Work, we have them placed within 90 days. And the overall success rate for that program right now is 80%.
So many needs in those areas you just mentioned, and that's where the job forces are going. I mean,
yeah.
You want to start talking about AI and what it's going to start doing to some of these quote unquote white collar jobs, but it's not going to take away plumbing and electricians and welding. You know, that's going to be there for a long time.
Absolutely.
So it's really cool to see you guys fill in this gap that used to be taken by most of our schools, and they just don't do that anymore. So
Absolutely.
This is really cool.
Our third program is Alpha. So we also took a step back. What about young people before they get to that point that they're dropping out? So we wanted to address young people before they got to that point. So Alpha is a gym, a boxing gym with a program component. That program component works with young people from 11 to 24. We serve people younger than that. We have some people in the program that's 9 years old. The goal is to take those young people who are struggling in the academic world and make sure that they have the supports and wraparound services that they need to get on track and stay on track to graduate. So the goal of this program is to help boost the graduation rate that we have here in Rockford. We have over 250 youth enrolled in this program. And what that looks like is these young people are assigned mentors that work with them, both staff and volunteers. We help them with homework. We have programs within the school system, whereas we go into the school, individuals that are getting suspended or on the verge of getting kicked out of school, they come into our program. We work with them. They get back into class, and those young people, 70% of them, the grades go up, behavioral referrals go down. We also have a boxing gym on site where they learn fitness, physical fitness. They learn nutrition. They learn life skills. One of the classes that they took was how to build a small engine. So they're able to work on things like lawnmowers and things like that. We take them on tours of the community so that they learn the Rockford history. The goal is to make them learn to love their community. So as they grow, there'll be assets to this community. They'll love this community and work hard to make sure that Rockford becomes one of those top 25 cities that we hear our mayor talk about.
That's awesome. That's a great goal. That's a great goal. We get to see. We took a tour of your building there last year with our Next Rockford group, and what is it? The second or third floor where you got this gym. It's really cool. It's a really cool setup that you guys got there. So kudos to you. 250 students currently enrolled in this. That's really, really impressive. Are you, it sounds like you need help in a lot of different areas. What is the key area right now where people can volunteer and help you, the greatest need that CCS currently has?
I think outside of the greatest need that most nonprofits have, which is dollars. It's individuals that love their community and want to help our young people grow. One of the things that we've all heard growing up, our youth are our future, and in order to make a meaningful impact in a young person's life, you have to believe that. You have to show that in how you speak to our young people, how you interact with our young people. We have a thing called developmental relationships that we teach and practice over at the building. I mean, that's about building. In order to magnify change, you have to build meaningful relationships with young people. So we're looking for individuals in the community who would like to build meaningful relationships with young people, to mentor them to become better people. If it wasn't for my mentors that I had growing up, I wouldn't be where I am right now. When I first got out of prison, I wanted to do something different, but there's a difference between wanting and knowing how to do. I was used to dealing with conflict with, anger and violence, only knowing that way, and then going into a professional setting like Youth Build, how could I respond to anger in a situation? I had to learn something different. I had to unlearn my old ways and learn new ways. I can remember, like, I had mentors that Oliver Reed being one of them. He owns the Aragana club over on Kent Street, across the street from us. He was my mentor when I went through Youth Build. And he used to take me on long drives. Oliver was, answering the phone when I had questions. I'm in this tough situation right now. How do I navigate this? It was mentors that helped me get to where I am right now. So if anyone in Rockford has a desire to work with young people, and it would be that type of impact for young people, come talk to us.
Nice. Good deal. Well, we've got the link to your site in the chat there. So ccsrockford.org, pretty simple to get to. There's a contact us button where you can just click on that and go and check things out there. So it's really impressive. A lot of this stuff you just mentioned, William, is, again, stuff that schools used to do, and they're just not doing those things anymore. So you're filling a really much needed gap that once people, I think, see a little sliver of what it is you guys have been doing now for a few years, they can't help but want to support you. It's a really good thing.
Yeah, and that's what I believe has gotten us this far. We've had a tremendous amount of support. Some of those pictures you see, like Collins Aerospace have donated to us. The casino, Mayor Tom McNamara, Representative Maurice West, Senator Stottleman. We've had tremendous support, and just people coming out and showing up when it's needed, and we appreciate that. Representative Dave Vella came out and helped paint our building with us one summer. So it's just been a lot of support from the community. We appreciate that, and we just, ask for you to continue to do so.
Well, I want to encourage everybody to like and follow your Facebook page, see what's going on for events that you have coming up, and then any other special needs that might pop up for CCS and the organizations, the programs that they've got running. Maybe you can help them out with some dollars. Maybe you can help them out with some man hours, whatever fits your calendar or your budget. It would be really helpful to help what they're doing out there. So is there anything today that we did not ask you about that you wanted to make sure we talk before we let you go about your weekend?
Yeah. So August 7th is our annual commencement ceremony where Youth Build graduates walk the stage. We honor young people in our Alpha program that are doing well in the program and in school. We also honor community members. We honor staff that we have a award that we pass along called the GOAT. So it's a great event. It's August 7th. Doors open at 5:30, and it's a great time. The other event I want to highlight is August 9th, the Saturday. We are doing our annual back to school bash on Kent and Main Street. We usually cut off that street. We have entertainment, speakers about nonviolence. We give away book bags, haircuts, physicals, dental exams, whatever a young person need to have that a great first day of school. We typically offer at our back to school bash, and I just want to send that out there as well. These two events are coming up in August.
Awesome. All right. Well, be sure to follow that on their Facebook page and get that on your calendar and get out there and celebrate with all the good stuff that CCS Rockford has been doing here. Buddy, it's been really great to get to know you, and we want to have you back. So when we get closer to other events, let's keep promoting what you're doing, because it's a good thing. It's a very good thing.
I appreciate that. Glad to be here.
All right. Any final questions, Tom, before we let William go?
No, just a big thank you to you and what you're doing. So keep it up.
Thank you, Tom.
Mm-hmm. All right. You have a great rest of your weekend, William.
You as well. Thank you all.
All right, buddy. How about this? Let's get to this before we forget, because it's already been an hour. So. Tom could do it today. Our current race to 10. Tom in the lead by a score of 9-7.
I forgot what the first one was, so I went with the second one.
Our big number of the week this week is build or bank. Build or bank. And you sent me your guess, and I need to change the score here and to ask you, have you heard about this new report of how many millionaires there are estimated to be right now in the United States?
I'm hoping there are 400 million of them. No, I don't know. I don't know, because I don't know where you're going with this, but
well, the report comes out from the Swiss bank UBS, and they estimate that the United States has added another 379,000 new millionaires last year, which is a 1.5% increase year over year. So that's about 1,000 new millionaires every day in the United States of America. What a country, right?
Yeah.
What a country. Lots of millionaires. Tom, you are the race to 10 champion this time. Way to go. 400 million is what it took to build. Wait a minute.
No.
You said bank.
I said bank. Yes.
Whoa, slow down. Hold the phone. I get this point.
Oh, man.
Build is the answer. Change that score. There we go. $400 million is what it took to build Siam World. Have you heard of Siam World?
No, I did not. I have
luxury resort in the Maldives. It prioritizes action-packed fun over relaxation. The guy that built it, his name is Ahmed Siam Mohammed. He initially invested $350 million, but he ended up adding another $50 million for some upgrades. When you go to this resort in the Maldives, you can cruise around in $25,000 electric mini mokes. I don't know what a moke is. I'm not sure. I didn't look that up. They have rare horses that you can ride. They have a cat cafe. That sounds like something Joanne would absolutely love. You can dive in a one-man submarine or wear an underwater jetpack. You can even train with soccer stars. There's about 500 rooms. They start at about $700 a night. Doesn't matter which room you're in. You will have a private water slide.
Wow.
Siam World, SIYAM. Siam World is the name of the place in the Maldives. So yeah, I'll take the point and make this go on another
yeah, one more week. It'll go on one more week.
If you didn't guess, but you still want to go to the Drive 815, where we go. I want to promote this real quick by saying we want to give you a free carload pass to Drive 815. And how do we give these away? I haven't thought this through very well, Tom, so I don't know. Thank you to Fresh Prince of Loves Park, because they are the ones who gave us these freebies to give away. We got a handful of them. So Drive 815 this summer is doing a bunch of movies. And if I bring up the events page from the Drive 815, well, let's do this first.
Just throw out your phone number, and the 100th person to call you is the winner.
You're so funny.
Next number is 815. No, I'm just kidding.
Funny. You know what? We want people to comment. Here's what we're going to have people do. All right. We're going to have you like the Drive 815 page. All right. So the Drive 815 page is, which we got linked up in our YouTube, Facebook pages right now. For some reason, it didn't pop up on Rumble today. Rumble must be having an update. So like their page and then share one of their posts and tag us and Fresh Prince. So tag InCrowd 815 and tag Fresh Prince of Lowe's Park, and we will find a way to get you this free pass. I will make sure to get you this free pass sometime during this next week. So thanks, Atlas. So here you see on the page that today they're doing a show today, which we're not going to be able to get this to you today. I just highly doubt that unless you meet me out at Starlight Theater, which I guess we could arrange. But tonight they're doing the Trolls World Tour movie. On Saturday, July 5th, they're showing Miracle. July 18th is the Garfield movie. July 25th, Paddington. August 2nd, Inside Out 2. King of Kings, August 8th. Sonic 3, August 9th. Beauty and the Beast, August 23rd. So there's a bunch of opportunities to go to a Drive 815 movie event, which is at 12801 Old River Road in Rockford. I'll bring up this 12801 River Road in Rockland is the place. See that right there? And they basically have this this portable big screen that they put up and show a movie on a big screen. You can stay in your cars. The To get in, it's $25 per carload. We're giving you a free carload. So this is a $25 value, and I got a handful of these to give away this week. So I'm looking for 5 people to like their Drive 815 page and then share one of their upcoming events and tag Inside 815. Oh, Tom's got a thing going on.
I was going to invite one of my dogs in.
Tag in Crowd 815 and tag Fresh Prince. Tag Fresh Prince, which again, here is their wonderful big logo. Thank you, Fresh Prince of Loves Park. You guys are awesome. Thanks for putting this together. All right. Did I make that clear as mud, Tom?
Yes, definitely clear as mud. Absolutely.
and if you actually want this for tonight's show, we can make an arrangement for you to pick it up. But I'm going to be at Starlight Theater pretty much all day. Where you have a 2:00 show and an 8:00 show at Starlight Theater. So between shows, between 4 and 6:30, if you wanted to come by Starlight and pick up this, if you win it, if we connect on Facebook and you win one of these, you can come get it from me then and go to the Trolls show tonight if you want to. We can make it happen. But you're gonna have to bow to me because that's where I'm stuck all day, and I'm happy to be stuck there because we're doing The Wedding Singer. We're doing The Wedding Singer at Starlight Theater. 2 shows today. This is your last chance to catch Wedding Singer before our July run, which is running July 30th through August 3rd.
Is it true that Billy Idol makes a surprise appearance there?
An impersonator. Yes, the Billy Idol impersonator makes a great appearance in this show.
All right.
So does Imelda Marcos and fake Imelda Marcos.
Wow,
and Cindy Lauper and Mr. T.
A painted fool.
And Tina Turner and Ronald Reagan. I mean,
wow. Nancy and I thank you for your support.
Would you like a jelly bean? We have a complimentary jelly bean for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what's going on. All right. I think that takes care of all of the business I was hoping to take care of today. Other than one more thing, which is Boone County Jiu-Jitsu. Thank you again to Jason for hosting our In Crowd 815 networking group for this month. Thursday night was a great night. I've heard nothing but compliments of how well he ran his event and his good job of getting together some great door prizes. He had a bunch of door prizes. So a bunch of people left with prizes Thursday night from this event. And so if you want to host an In Crowd 815 networking event in 2026, we're going to start talking about that now. So if you are looking to host, it's the last Thursday of the month, January through October. And we are now accepting folks' applications, if you will. And we'll see if we can make it work for you. So let us know if you'd like to host at your place of business or something else that you can do. If you don't have a place of business that really is a good place to host an event, you can sponsor the event as your business at another location. Maybe you've got a restaurant that's your favorite place and they've got a meeting room. Maybe you have a favorite not-for-profit area or other event space that you think would be a fun place to have an event. I'm looking at you, Historic Auto Attractions. I'm looking at you, Anderson Japanese Gardens, places like that where we would love to have an event there, but what business would like to sponsor it and be the sponsor of that event?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So awesome. That I think covers all the bases other than letting people know that next week we're going to be chatting with Pauline Zakowski. She and WLM and Associates will be hosting our December In Crowd 815 Christmas party and fundraiser for Vets Smile program. I know that seems a long ways off, but we're already starting to plan our December event. And we're also planning on chatting with Keep Northern Illinois Beautiful Executive Director Leslie Varisco. And so we got a couple of guests to chat with you on the 5th of July. Next week is July, Tom. Next week is July already.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
A lot of fireworks.
Yeah, well, fireworks. Yeah, we had some going off last night. Somebody had some serious fireworks. I mean, right in my neighborhood. This neighborhood's big for fireworks every year. and then go on until the middle of July, maybe even early August. It's like, come on, guys, you overbought again. Blow them off on July 4th, maybe July 5th, maybe that weekend, and be done with it. My dogs don't like it.
Yeah, the dogs are not real happy with it.
Yeah.
They're not.
But the thing is, we're already, I mean, oh my God, it seemed like we just hit warm weather. We didn't even hit warm weather in May. We still had crappy weather up until late May. I remember, May 25th, 26th, whatever. It was starting to get warm. And then, of course, June hit, and we had our June swoon, or whatever you want to call it, where we have had the last 2 weeks 100 degree heat index and everything else. But now July is just around the corner. I mean, our next show is in July. It's crazy. And your birthday is 3 days from now, June,
this week,
30, 31. Yeah, 1. So yeah, Monday, Tuesday.
Version 5.5 of the Greg Saunders Experience launches on Tuesday.
Wow, version 5.5 double nickels.
I heard someone a couple weeks ago say I started putting a decimal point in my age a few years ago, and it made me feel younger and more like I was like a computer upgrade. Every year it's an upgrade on myself. So instead of saying I'm 55 years old, I'm at version 5.5 of the Greg Saunders Experience. How about that?
That's pretty cool. I like it.
I thought that was fun. InCrowd815.com for all things. Try to keep up with us if you can. And hey, we've got some new merch that'll be launching real soon. So check out our InCrowd815 merch stuff. And of course, keep up to date with the events that are coming up. We're really getting excited again, of course, for the next Mass Karaoke Trivia Contest, which we are going to be doing November 13th at Tabala. We sent out the press release recently, letting everybody know that, yep, we are back doing it again in November, and we're at a bigger place. A few minor tweaks to the event to try to make it even better. We'll be starting at 7 p.m. and trying to keep it within like a 2-hour package, a 2-hour event. It's probably going to go about 2 to 2.5 hours when it's all said and done, but that's the goal. Looking to increase the prize money again this time as we had the last couple of times, and getting very, very excited about what's coming up for the Mass Karaoke Trivia Contest. I think the most confusing thing about our contest, Tom, was people were wondering if they had to sing, and if they had to sing wearing a mask.
I know.
Those are the two questions I got the most. And I said, well, you have to have at least one person on your team that can sing, just one. If the whole team wants to sing, or a duet or a trio or whatever, but at least one.
Slight correction: one person on your team that is willing to sing. They don't have to be able to sing.
They don't have to be a good singer.
because not everybody has been a good singer. But
and the masked portion of this contest is this: the identity of the not-for-profit that you're playing for remains masked throughout the competition until the team is eliminated or they win the contest.
That way we don't sway votes or anything like that. Like, I really like their organization, I'm going to give them slightly higher points because I really think they should get the money. So,
absolutely.
And that makes perfect sense.
The not-for-profits that will be participating will all be promoted. It's just you don't know which team. Each team is given a number. So during the competition, they're just playing as a team number until it's revealed who they're playing for at the end. So congratulations to Rockford Rescue Mission and to Rock House Kids, our last two grand prize winners. Who will it be in November? Looking forward to finding out who that is. So if your business wants to support a team, and that's what we highly promote and want to see the most of, is businesses sponsoring teams to play for these not-for-profits and collaborating between the two. Get some people from the not-for-profit and get some people from the business sponsor to be on the team together. You get to know each other for an evening. One of you sings and you cheer each other on, and hopefully you walk away with some more money at the end of the night for your not-for-profit.
Yep.
So
it's been hugely successful 2 times now.
Yes.
So version 3.0.
Version 3.0 is coming up November 13th. All right. That's it for me, buddy. Anything before we let you go?
No, and I have not followed as much Packer stuff this week. It's been a crazy rough week. I've had a lot of work.
Mhm.
So I don't have any real Packer talk right now. I normally watch my podcast. It's called Locked On Packers with Peter Bukowski. It's really, really good. This
He's
guy's
good.
so good. Oh my goodness. And he just tells it like it is. He pulls no punches whatsoever, but he's very, very diplomatic about it.
Yeah, he's
And
not. He doesn't play the part of the homer. He just tells it like it is.
absolutely.
I like that.
Absolutely. But he also, he'll give you the good stuff and he'll give you some of the bad as well. And right now I'm seeing a lot of good stuff. That defense, 1 year into Jeff Hafley's system, everybody's bought in. They've added some components. They're getting rid of some of the guys that, like Jair is gone. Jair Alexander. See Ja later.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. I mean, I hope Jair Alexander. I hope he does well in Baltimore. I hope he does, except for when they play the Packers.
Exactly.
But you know what? I think what's going to happen is you're going to see some serious moves happening in the next probably in the next month and a half to 2 months before the season really starts to throughout July. I think by August 1st. So I guess we've only got a month, don't we?
Only got a
Before
month.
August 1st. Because they want to have everything in place. They want to have everybody signed. They want to have all of the rookies in camp and showing what they can do so that we can get a sense of what we're doing defensively and what we're doing offensively. The only X factor for me, two X factors. One, pay Elton Jenkins. Don't even think about it. Pay him. He's one
Yeah.
of the best in the business. Pay him, period. End of discussion. And number two, Christian Watson. Will he be ready? I don't think he's going to be ready at the beginning of the season, but I think they could put him on the fast track. He could be ready by week 4, week 5, I think. And if that's the case, then great. But we do have two really good receivers that we got. So one of them's
I'm
Matthew
curious.
Golden.
Yeah, with Matthew Golden coming on now, I want here's my thought on that right now. With Matthew Golden coming on, will that help Christian Watson? Will he embrace the role of possibly being a number 2 instead of the number 1? Because that's kind of what they hoped he would be. They hoped he would be the number 1, and maybe he still will be. We don't know. But maybe it'll take the pressure off him a little bit, and maybe that'll help him be more healthy.
Okay, but then you've got another problem. What about Jaden Reed?
And
Because
Jaden
Reed has been the 1, but he's not truly a 1. I think he's a number 2. I think he's an Addison.
I heard Patterson
from Minnesota. Addison, not Russell. Addison,
Robertson.
Jordan Addison.
Jordan.
I think he's a Jordan Addison from like Minnesota.
So
Because
good,
Jordan Addison is a perfect complement to Justin Jefferson. They've got so many J's and all of that. It boggles my mind. But anyway, and I think that's what Jaden Reed is. So I think if Matthew Golden can step in and become the number 1, Christian Watson either becomes odd man out or he has to accept his role as a deep threat, but a possession receiver all at the same time. I don't know if you can be both. You can be, because sometimes you're going short and you're going to get a 20-yarder, or sometimes you're going to go ahead and take it to the house.
You remember when oh gosh, who's Aaron Rodgers throwing all the touchdowns to, the speedster guy?
Well, there was Devontae Adams. There was Jordy Nelson. You know, the number of times that Jordy Nelson lined up in the slot and did the slot receiver thing, caught the inside pass, and just bolted to the end zone. Oh, absolutely. And that would be a perfect spot for Christian Watson if he can accept his role as a number 3. Romeo Doubs might be odd man out. He was a problem last year in a couple of ways. He was a problem. And I think when you've got the 2 new guys coming in, and you've got guys like Malik Heath, who I like, Dontavian Wicks, as long as he can take the cement off of his hands, I think he'll be okay. Learn to catch that ball. If you don't catch that ball in training camp, we're dealing you. Somebody will pick you up. Yeah. It sounds harsh, but you can't. The Packers led the league in dropped balls. And if you think about it, let's say 3 to 5 drop balls a game. Let's say 5, because I think there were probably anywhere from 3 to 5 drop balls. Call it 4. 4 drop balls a game. One of those is going to sustain a drive, which is going to lead to points, which then changes the score from 23 to 20 to 27-20, or tie it up, or it's 23-21. Now it's 24-23. Those are crucial drops, crucial score changes. I mean, and then you take one or two of those, and then you don't lose to Philly in the first round because you don't play Philly in the first round. And by the way, Philly went on an absolute rampage after the Packer game, and they won the Super Bowl, and Green Bay almost beat them. Almost beat them. I believe we were we not leading late in the game, third quarter?
Didn't we take the lead in the game? I believe we did.
I think we did. But anyway, that whole first the way that whole thing first played out last year, with that first fumble that they called a fumble, even after you could see clearly that he had the ball. Well, after further review, we didn't see anything we could overturn because we sucked. I mean, come on, the whole world saw it. Even the announcers are like, I'm not sure what they're looking at. I don't get it. What are they looking at here? You know. So anyway, it's all right. Water under the bridge. So.
Well, I'm going to put this up behind us because happy 4th of July. This is Independence Week, and I hope you celebrate safely. Enjoy everything. There's a lot going on this coming up. Well, not this. Yeah, this week. Yeah, this week.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I don't know what you're doing on your birthday on Tuesday, but I'd like to take you out to breakfast. My birthday gift to you.
That'd be
fun. If you're up for it, let me know.
That'd be fun. This coming Friday, is the 4th of July. There's stuff going on the 3rd of July. There's fireworks and different things going on. There's the big Star Spangled celebration that they do, patriotic celebration that they do at Starlight Theater with the Rockford Symphony Orchestra. So that's on the stage on the evening of July 3rd. Phantom Regiment has their performance this year. This is the first time in 50 years they're not at Boylan, Tom. They're at Guilford High School. Guilford has the turf field and better parking. You don't have to park on grass. You can park on a parking lot. So they're at Guilford High School July 3rd, this coming Thursday, for their annual show of shows. And if you want to get out and support the Phantom Regiment, that'd be really cool too. So, so much stuff going on this week. Check Facebook, follow us on InCrowd815. And as we always say, you change the world when you help one person. So be a blessing to someone this week. We'll try to do the same. Meet you back here for another InCrowd815 podcast on July 5th. All right. Thank you, buddy. Hold on after the phone show, and I'll talk to you off the air.
Okay, sounds good.
Have a good one, everybody. Stay safe.
815 in crowd. 815 in crowd. 815 in crowd. 815. 815.